Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Unfiltered and Unapologetic, the space where we heal in truth and faith and with softness, without abandoning who we are or where we come from. I'm Caitlin Gil-Soto, born and raised in Lawrence, Massachusetts, always traveling between Bani and El Cibao, proudly Dominican, and a Master's of Science in Finance candidate, learning not only the language of money, but the language of the nervous system, culture, and the emotional patterns we inherit without realizing it. Last episode, we talked about Dominican men and emotional freeze, how silence became survival. Today, we talk about the other side of that same survival coin. Dominican women and overfunctioning. This episode is for women who are always on, are always thinking 3 steps ahead, feel responsible for everyone's emotions, feel guilty resting, feel anxious when things are calm. This is not about blaming women. It's about naming why so many of us learned that doing everything was the safest option. Because for many Dominican women, softness was not modeled. It was postponed. Overfunctioning is not ambition. It's not competence, and it's definitely not a personality trait. Overfunctioning is a nervous system response. It's what happens when your body learns that chaos is dangerous, stillness is suspicious, and being needed equals safety. Overfunctioning looks like anticipating needs before they're spoken, fixing problems before they fully exist, managing emotions in the room, taking responsibility for outcomes you don't control, saying I'll handle it automatically. Dominican women weren't raised to wait and see. They were raised to step in. And eventually, doing too much stopped being something we did. It became who we were. I have the first journal prompt here for you guys. Where in my life do I feel responsible for things that are not actually mine? And the affirmation for this question is, I am allowed to stop overfunctioning to feel safe. Many Dominican women grew up watching mothers who never rested, grandmothers who carried families alone, women who endured without complaints. We learned early on, love equals sacrifice, rest equals laziness, softness equals danger, usefulness equals worth. We were praised for being responsible, strong, the one who always figures everything out. So we learned to stay alert, to stay busy, to stay useful. When men shut down emotionally, women step up emotionally. When systems failed, women filled the gaps. Overfunctioning became protection. I have another journal prompt here for you guys. What did the women in my family teach me about love, rest, and responsibility? And the affirmation for this question is, I honor the women before me without repeating their exhaustion. For many Dominican women, overfunctioning shows up most clearly in relationships. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly in the way we anticipate, manage, and carry. It looks like explaining yourself too much, fixing emotional tension before it's named, staying calm so the other person doesn't shut down, softening your needs so someone else doesn't feel overwhelmed, feeling responsible for the relationship working. Many Dominican women end up in relationships where one person feels everything and the other feels very little, or feels but can't express it. And the woman starts asking, why do I feel so tired all the time? Why do I feel lonely even though I'm not alone? Why does it feel like I'm carrying us? Because overfunctioning turns love into labor. And here's the part that's hard to admit. Overfunctioning can feel like intimacy because being needed feels like connection when safety used to depend on usefulness. But love is not meant to feel like constant effort. You're not too much, you're doing too much because you learned that you had to. I have another journal prompt here for you guys. Where am I over-explaining, over-giving, or over-managing to keep connection? And the affirmation for this question is, I don't have to carry love alone to be loved. Dominican women don't just overfunction emotionally. We overfunction financially too. Many of us learned early, money stress belongs to women. Scarcity must be managed constantly. Being on top of things equals safety. So overfunctioning with money looks like obsessively budgeting, tracking every dollar, anxiety when spending even when you can afford it, financially rescuing family, guilt investing in yourself, feeling pressure to be responsible for everyone. Even when income grows, the nervous system stays tight because money stopped being support and became a responsibility. Many Dominican women watched women stretch dollars, not enjoy them. Survive financially, not rest financially. So we learned, if I'm not vigilant, something bad will happen. But money isn't meant to feel like a constant emergency. When overfunctioning runs the finances, peace never gets invited into the conversation. I have another journal prompt here for you guys. Where do I use control instead of trust in my relationship with money? And the affirmation for this question is, my money can support my peace, not just my survival. There's a cost to being the strong one all the time. A quiet cost. When you're always the one who holds it together, stays calm, keeps moving, shows up no matter what. No one ever asks if you need help. Your body carries what your mouth never says. Over time, overfunctioning leads to burnout, resentment, emotional numbness, anxiety when resting, guilt when receiving. Your nervous system never fully relaxes because it learned that rest comes after everything is handled. But everything is never handled. Eventually, your body forces a pause through exhaustion, through anxiety, through emotional shutdown. That's not failure, that's wisdom knocking. I have a journal prompt here for you guys. What has my body been asking me to slow down or release? And the affirmation for this question is, rest is not something I earn, it's something I need. Dominican women do not need another self-improvement checklist. We need permission. Permission to stop managing everyone else's emotions, let people be disappointed, receive help without explaining ourselves, rest without guilt, soften without fear. Healing doesn't mean becoming passive. It means becoming regulated. And that means learning that you can be capable without being exhausted. You can be loving without overgiving. You can be strong without being rigid. This is about unlearning the belief that if I stop doing everything, everything will fall apart. It won't. What falls away is what never was yours to carry. I have another journal prompt here for you guys. What would my life look like if I didn't need to prove my worth through effort? And the affirmation for this question is, I am allowed to receive without overfunctioning. And now I have a prayer for us. Let's take a deep breath. And put a hand on our chest. Dear God, thank you for the women who learned to carry everything because no one ever taught them that it was safe to rest. For the daughters who became caretakers too early. For the women who learned to anticipate, fix, and hold it together. Because love once depended on it. Soften what has been tense for too long. Release the belief that strength means exhaustion, and that worth must be earned through sacrifice. Teach us that rest is not abandonment, that receiving is not selfish, that we don't have to overfunction to be loved, protected, or provided for. Heal our nervous systems, heal our relationship with money, responsibility, and control. Let this generation learn a new way, where love is shared, where money supports peace, and where softness is finally safe. Amen. If this episode resonated, share it with a woman who's always been the strong one. Finance Fridays continues every other Friday. We heal money the same way we heal everything else. With culture, nervous system awareness, and truth. Support the podcast with a monthly contribution via Buzzsprout. Blank journals are available on Amazon. Follow me on IG and on TikTok at Unfill and Unapologetic Pod. All of this will be in the show notes. Rest is allowed. Receiving is allowed. Softness is safe here. I'll see you on the next episode.